Mrs. József, Margit, born in Nagyvárad in 1911, and Mrs. Sámuel Fried, Aranka, born in Budapest in 1906. On December 2nd, 1944, we were picked up by the Aerocross members from the shelter in Papa and taken to Klausel Square. There we were handed over to the police, who took us to the house at 10 Teleki Square. The women were separated from the men and driven directly to the Józsefváros train station. There were 70 of us in one rail car. While still in Pest, we were given 3 loaves of bread and a can of vitamin-fortified food for the entire rail car. We stopped in Győr, and under military police supervision, we were allowed to relieve ourselves. The next stop was Hegyeshalom. There we were given pea soup. We were taken out of the cars, counted, and then boarded again. At the border in Zuundorf, we were taken over by the Germans, who had us transferred to regular passenger cars. Each person received 1 kilogram of bread and 50 grams of margarine. Via Prague, Vienna, and Berlin, we arrived in Ravensbrück. There were 2,000 women housed there. We lived in large tents that were full of dirt and mud. Even the toilet was inside the tent. The worst part was that there was no water. Within 10 days, 30 women went mad. We couldn't even sit down. Instead, we had to stand all day. We were given nothing but scraps to eat. After 10 days, the tents were cleaned and beds set up. Then a sort of rationing began. Black coffee in the morning, some watery vegetable dish at lunchtime, soup in the evening. All inedible. There was no possibility of personal hygiene, not even drinking water. For no reason at all, we were beaten by the female guards. The SS drove us to work. It was typical forced labor. On one side of the hill, we tore things down. On the other, we built them up. And the next day, the whole thing was reversed. Wake up was at 3:30 a.m. Even in the bitterest cold, we stood attention for 3 to 4 hours, in light summer clothing. In mid-January, we were loaded into train cars again. For the journey, we were given 750 grams of bread and 100 grams of liver sausage. We traveled for 3 days in cars with icicles hanging from the ceiling. Many fell ill with colds, pneumonia, bladder and kidney infections, and especially with diarrhea. In Pénic, the reception was initially very decent. We hoped that we would fare comparatively well there. We were given soup in a tin bowl, and even spoons were handed out, which was a great stroke of luck for us. Every day we had to walk 8 kilometers between the camp and the work site. Although we were completely exhausted, we still had to line up for roll call here as well. We were given shoes with wooden soles, which were worn out for everyone after 2 weeks. There were many cases of frostbite on the feet. We were beaten on the way to work. After the first week, the food became terrible. We were given 2 deciliters of watery beet soup. The SS women and German foremen pushed us relentlessly to work. On April 13th, 65 seriously ill people and 5 who were somewhat able to work, including us, were left alone in the camp without any food. The plan was to shoot us all, but the Oberscharführer refused and disappeared with the others. We were completely on our own. We found potato peels from which we cooked soup. Until the Americans arrived, we managed to find some food in the potato fields. On April 15th, we were finally liberated by American troops. We were taken to a sanatorium in Altenburg. The commander, Lieutenant George Friedman, was so kind to the 70 women that we will never forget him. Day and night he fought for us, and it is thanks to his selfless dedication that most of us survived.